Welcome back. We're down in the woodshed and I've just finished cleaning up this staff and cleaning off any excess epoxy that I've used when I've been cementing and, well, fitting these copper end caps or ferrules, whatever terminology you'd like to use. And as you can see, they've come up really nice. They're polished up, but it's not finished yet. Same as the wood, it's not finished. I'm still in the build process, so I'm not going to invest too much time polishing and sanding to a fine finish, because there's every danger I might have to come back and clean up an overspill or a mess from today's episode. And today's episode, we're actually going to fit the deer antler onto this one. If you've watched my channel, you would have seen me do it on multiple other occasions, so I'm not going to go well in depth with it, but you will see me fit it. And then obviously I've got to wait a period of time for that to fully harden off. I like to give it a little bit longer so it fully cures, and then we'll clean that up, look at it where we are, and then from then on the next episode will be polishing up, wood burning and finishing for the last episode. But this episode is primarily about attaching the deer antler now. So yeah, let's move up into a workshop and do that. All you've missed basically is something that, you know, doesn't really need any explaining. Any excess that I've spilt and any cleanup process, it's just sanding, scraping, being gentle, but cleaning everything back up to a point I'm happy to move on to the next stage, and that is the deer antler. So let's move up into the workshop. Right then, let's take a quick look around and see what bits I'm going to be using in today's episode. I've got threaded bar, I've got 8mm and 12mm. I'm still to decide which I'm going to use. Good quality epoxy, deer antler itself, some masking tape, drill bit, and an actual ruler, and the actual staff itself there. So what I'm doing, instead of being in a blind panic, I'm just taking a step back and having a little look and trying to figure out things. And first thing I'm going to figure out is how deep I want to go down into that copper collar. I do actually have a tack coming in here. There's none at the top because of the epoxy provided a solid bond all the way to the wood. And this isn't going to be doing any hard work as striking the ground. It's just to help maintain it in place. And after all, there will be epoxy on top with the deer antler. So I've just got a ruler and I'm measuring down to that tack. And I can see I can go about drill down about 2.5 inches if I really want to. So it's safe to say I could get 2 inches easily there. And on the deer antler, I'm just having a look. I think I can safely say I can get a good portion of 12mm rod up into a large part of that antler. So I'm looking at it, and there's enough meat. Because of the way it's got a shallow U bit there, I'm going to have to make sure I come a little bit further down to the bottom wall there. So I'm just looking at that, and I think I can go up on this one 2 inches. So I'm reckoning if I have a 4-inch or thereabouts, you know, I'll cut that and everything will be measured and drilled from here on in to what the length of the threaded bar I've actually cut. So 4 inches basically is going to be, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. About that much threaded rod, and that is a lot of metalwork then holding all this together with this epoxy. It won't be going nowhere. So I'll start getting this all set up and cut, and then we'll move on to the next process. Right, This is a lot higher than I normally do this, so everything's got that little bit more of a wobble factor. I've marked my drill to give me 2 inches, or drill bit to give me 2 inches. It's marked with masking tape to give me a rough idea of how the depth I'm going down into the wood. So it's for me to climb up on the chair, precariously balance myself and try to drill down in a straight line. Wish me luck. I'm probably a bit heavy to be stood up on a wicker chair. Right. And now I haven't even plugged the drill in. Schoolboy error. Right, I'm back. I do try to be a little bit more professional than that. Right. Let's get this central. There's a lot of wobble factor here, but I got time to take it easy. Try and get it central. So this is going to give my arms a workout. There. Let's go for it. I'm committed now. I'm keeping the speed and pressure low. Bringing it up. There's a deer antler, it's clamped in position, and I've got some rubber pipe just to protect it. And I'm going to go down through there, but possibly a little bit off centre, more to that natural semicircle bit down here. So it might be just a little bit off centre. But I've measured it all up, put it on, and had a little look and found out the best seating position that I believe that I need. So let's crack on with this. I'll be wearing a dust mask for this, by the way, because dust from antlers, all dust is not good for you. But from what I understand, dust from antlers and horns and things like that is potentially dangerous to health. So here we are, folks. We've got both holes drilled, as you can see there, quite evidently. And here's the threaded bar cut. Fits in there very nice and quite deep. I did drop back to an 8mm because, quite simply, as I was drilling down through, I brought my drill size back a little bit because I thought to myself I could be getting quite close to the actual roll off on the antler, if you can see what I mean. It rolls off from the main part of the antler, starts off straight there, and it rolls down. So I didn't want to start coming out the sidewall. These are all factors that you will have to factor in, because each piece of wood and antler, if you're attaching, will be actually different. So it will require different depths, possibly angles, and indeed possibly even moving this drill slightly to one side to try and avoid coming out a sidewall. But in any case, successfully drilled. This is successful. So really, all that's left for me to do at this moment is set myself up to do the epoxy, clean the threaded bar. I'll probably use some petrol and dry it off, quite simply because there could be oil or anything on this to stop it rusting, and I don't want it to contaminate the bond. But yeah, now it's for me to get set up to do all the messy bit. I've always said with epoxy, no matter how careful I am, me personally, I always seem to end up with a slight mess. It was always the same when I was making surfboards. I always seem to waste just that little bit more when I was making them, and this is no different for me. But I have seen people that are spotlessly clean, and there's hardly a drop of epoxy out of place. So if you do see a slight mess with me, don't be too alarmed. It just means me, as the crafter, I've got a lot more cleaning up afterwards when it's all dry, compared to the person who's a lot more professional in their application of epoxy. But we'll get this done, we'll get this seated, and then we can put it to rest for 24-48 hours. So folks, that's my contraption that I'm going to use to hold it in position and apply downward force. Pretty simple, nothing too technical. You can probably work it out. Just a couple of trampoline springs, doubled up rubber bands to some around the shaft. I've covered the shaft enough to help stop any epoxy making too big a job for myself cleaning up afterwards. I haven't got a helper today to video me doing this, so I'm going to set you up and I'm going to try my best. So it'll either work or it'll be a disaster. But, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Well, we've successfully got that antler attached to the shaft, and what's left to be done now is basically the cleanup process, touch up the antler, polish all the metalwork up, give it its final sanding and clean up of the wood, and then we'll be moving on to the wood burning, which is going to be a long and protracted experience for me, because it's a lot of unknowns going into doing sort of like Celtic artwork, and I'll have to do my research and look up patterns which will apply to being put on this stick. But yeah, I haven't had too much mess, and that invention actually worked. I'm wondering if that's worth trying to get a patent on it for stick makers. An antler attachment device. You know, it did work, and it saved me there trying to tape things over and everything. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. But in any case, yeah, I'm just going to let this sit now for at least 24 hours, fully cure and go off, possibly longer. But I need to start moving on to the wood burning, because days are beginning to roll on, and I need to have some results to show the gentleman that's commissioned this. So I can't hang about, I've got to get on with it. But yeah, till the next episode where we move on to the cleanup, the polishing, the sanding and the wood burning. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.